Hello there, my very good friends. On today's wrestling news video, we're going to talk about WWE's new face of Raw and SmackDown. It's weird.
Creative issues over a big SummerSlam match have been revealed.
Top stars taking time off after SummerSlam.
And a backstage update on Kairi Sane's WWE return. I'm Adam Wilborn.
And I definitely didn't forget to press record the first time.
This is the news.
25 minutes of studio time for 2 seconds of footage. Anyway, you would never make that mistake.
Who's that? Oh!
Sorry, Michael Cole.
Hey!
He's the new face of Raw. He's literally the new face of Raw and SmackDown.
And the new face of Fear, apparently.
He is Bray Wyatt. This is an exact quote, by the way. Don't shoot me. Saying Michael Cole is the new face of WWE. It's literally in the report. Okay, so there was a shake-up to the announcers confirmed over the weekend. Variety coming through with a scoop ski, presumably in conjunction with WWE. Cole and Wade Barrett are going over to Raw. We live in Britain. Why am I doing an impression of it? That's weird. They're going over to Raw. Corey Graves and Kevin Patrick are going to SmackDown, but Michael Cole is staying on SmackDown, and that's going to be a power trio, a three-man booth. Now, there was a note in the Variety article about how WWE wants Patrick and Cole to work together, so Patrick can... Sorry.
Come on, Patrick!
Why didn't I swing to you for all of those? So that he can grow as a broadcaster. They're very high on him, by the way. It's not like a relegation or anything like that. But in an update, PW Insider note that WWE's new ownership group at Endeavor and the company's media partners, USA and Fox.
How
have I forgotten that? They've pushed for Cole to become the new face of Raw and SmackDown. That's such a weird sentence. This is why the veteran announcer is now working on both shows and presumably dethroning Roman Reigns. Regarding Cole and Barrett switching to Raw, company executives wanted to keep them together because of their chemistry, which has drawn a bunch of praise internally and presumably externally as well, and has prompted the move from SmackDown to the flagship show, Raw. Is Raw still the flagship? SmackDown's a bigger deal.
Yeah, I never can tell how this works anymore. It's the longest show, but...
Yeah, longest show, Tony Bone. Michael Cole's been in WWE since 1997. He's done everything. He's been around for ages. We were all there. Well, the ones of us who have grey in their beard were there for the Frosted Tips era and the Live Wire era and the getting bullied by The Rock as the backstage interview era, like everyone did when they interviewed The Rock then. On camera, obviously.
Yes.
We're not calling Dwayne Johnson a bully.
Would never.
Could never do that. But yeah, commentator. He's a commentator.
I will say this, it could be a lot worse when he was heel on both shows and on NXT as well, and he lived in the coal mine. But I've turned babyface on Michael Cole in recent years since an old man has shouted in his ear less effectively. I think him and Wade Barrett are a brilliant team. I think Wade, I'm biased obviously, good friend of mine, and obviously learn everything you need to know about commentary working in WCPW. So after we booked one of the best matches over SummerSlam weekend, again, you're welcome, WWE. I think, they work really well as a duo. I think intriguing that they put the two-man booth on the 3-hour show, but if that's what they want to give Kevin Patrick a new lease of life on SmackDown. I'm relieved that they did say that they were just basically letting him learn, go under the wing of Michael Cole for this. And more people in the booth means less talking for Corey Graves, so that's always really beneficial. I just want to wonder what Vic Joseph thought when he heard commentary shake-up and he was like, "What's happening, guys?" They're like, "Everything's staying the same in NXT." He was like, and Booker T was like, "Let's go, baby!"
He's so weird. I love him.
Yeah.
I mean, also, like, uncovered kind of benefit of all of this is that Corey Graves is no longer on the same brand as Ludwig Kaiser, so we no longer have to listen to that impression ever again.
Yes.
Hopefully. But no, Michael Cole is been a divisive figure in WWE. Some people really don't like the guy's commentary. Some people like it, whatever. I think for me, he's doing his job. Hey, everything that he does on camera and off, because he does a lot of stuff behind the scenes as well with other announcers and other folk in the company. He's just doing what he's told. This is the style of announcing that his bosses want him to do, so he does it. And he's very clean and he's very professional.
Yeah.
Like all the nicknames, the lead-ins, the funny words for stuff, It's just what his boss wants from him. When your boss tells you to do something, it's usually a good idea to do it. Otherwise, you won't be with the company since 1997. So, shout out to Michael Cole. He's a pro. Not my favourite style of commentary, full disclosure.
That's fair.
But he's doing his job, man. How can you hate on that?
Yeah, let us know your thoughts on Cole, him doing all the shows and the mix-up in commentary in the comments section below. And
Frosted tips as well. I want to know your
that era
take
was goated.
on that.
But let's move on and talk about a match that went down at SummerSlam that had some creative issues. No real surprises here. I think if you were asked to guess, you would have said
The main event.
The MMA rules match between Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler. Meltzer reporting as much on Wrestling Observer Radio. Basically, Rouser and Baszler.
Rouser and Baszler. Rouser's a cool name.
Rouser's very close to Bowser, isn't it?
Yeah. End of level boss.
There we go. We give them found their outfit here. Anyway, Rousey and Baszler, who obviously actually have an MMA background, had problems with the creative team regarding how the bout was going to play out and the rules that were, not officially announced, but they had to abide by, i.e., 10 counts and knockdowns. People were stuck in one mindset about combat, whilst others thought a different way. No specific issues were elaborated on. Obviously, Rouser.
You've done it again!
Baszler defeated Rousey by a technical knockout when she put her in the Kirifuda clutch. We'll talk a little bit about Rousey's future in a second, but I think you could just tell watching it, I suppose also not helped by some of the matches that surrounded it, that it was just so jarring for a wrestling audience to have this MMA-themed fight.
Yeah, I mean, this is me speculating. It's not part of the report, so don't get it twisted, but... For me, the conversation reading into this probably went, hey, we are Shayna Baszler and Ronda Rousey. We want to just simulate an MMA fight. And then the wrestling people, the road agents and stuff were like, okay, but what about this moonsault?
Yeah, what spots are you doing?
What about this count-out tease? That's probably how the conversation went. Put her into the ring steps. All of that stuff. So, yeah, not a huge surprise. I will say that in American wrestling, at least, simulated MMA rarely works. It didn't work in Impact or TNA, whatever the initials were back then, when they had Frank Trigg kicking about and Double J, Double MMA. Shout out to Jeff Jarrett. I love that man. It didn't work in AEW when they did it with Wardlow and Jake Hager, and I don't think it really worked here. It's not the same as the Fight Pit. The Fight Pit is a wrestling match, make no mistake. Oh yeah, it didn't work with Raw Underground either. There you go. As another example, more recent.
NXT Underground, though.
Oh, goated? That's a word you guys use, isn't it? Sorry. The Fight Pit's not quite the same. That's a wrestling match with a funny gimmick. This was trying to simulate MMA. Didn't quite work, but Shayna won, and hopefully she get pushed.
Yes, that's the main thing to come out of this. And the main thing you need to take away from today is that you need to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell.
Hey? 2 O's. Subscribe. It's nice. It's good. You get lots of benefits, like more of this.
You don't have to search out the videos, Andy. You can just kind of put your feet up and relax, and the videos come to you. Who else could be putting their feet up?
Oh, very nice. Brock Lesnar and Ronda Rousey.
Together, they're off to Disneyland.
They are. Sable and Travis Brown are going as well. They're leaving the kids at home. Hell of a time. Hell of a trip.
They got a group discount.
Yeah. Gee,
Brock Lesnar's like, oof, I'm not sure we can afford it, love.
Yeah, I don't know about this fast pass. That's extra 100.
How much is it?
Oh gosh, I can't remember the Disney price. It wasn't as much as Universal.
Okay.
The fast pass for Universal was more than the ticket. I will not tell you the amount of money I spent going there last year.
What?
But these people are taking time off. We'll start with Ronda because we just spoke about her. We kind of knew this was coming. They've reported a few months ago, maybe just a month ago, that Ronda had a hard out on her WWE contract. She was looking to exercise that, but before that, she wanted to team with Shayna, split up, feud, and put her over on the way out. Look what happened at SummerSlam.
Yep.
Here we are. There's no word on whether or not she'll actually be back. In the daily update, Meltzer writes that she isn't expected back at any specific date, which is why she was finished the way she was at the pay-per-view, the Premium 5 event. Pessy.
And Aldo.
What we do? Brock Lesnar's also taking time off. He is going to be back.
Of course.
This wasn't a farewell. But Dave notes that there's no word on how long he'll be out, but he's just taking some time off.
Lovely moments with him and Cody.
Unscripted as well. Very nice. He is advertised for Payback at the moment, but hey, when has that ever...
That's not happening.
When has that ever stopped the wrestling company from not doing it?
I would like the idea that he just had a big roulette wheel and just said, whose ass am I kicking tonight? Brrr. Bad luck, Ludwig Kaiser.
Yeah, sorry, pal. You're in the pit.
Actually, as a way to set up Gunther and Brock down the
Yeah,
road.
why not? WrestleMania, perhaps?
Oh, don't tempt me. I don't want Brock to be the one to break it, though.
It'd be funny for, wouldn't it?
It would put the fear of God into people.
If Brock broke it before...
Oh, before...
Twitter questions is one about that.
Yeah, we'll get
so
to that in a
save
second.
that.
I think, like I say, I hope we see Ronda Rousey back at least once more, because I don't want that MMA rules match to be the last thing she ever does in sports entertainment. And I think she could come back and have a big match at a Mania or a SummerSlam or whatever it may be. I think, as not to plan as this run has gone, I think is the nicest way of putting it, that rookie year is up there with Kurt Angle's, isn't it?
It's top stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really is. And fantastic first year. It would be a shame if her pro wrestling legacy was remembered on the back of this last run, which hasn't hit those highs. Ronda's never been shy of talking about the things about wrestling she doesn't like the fans and all that stuff.
And she's been around MMA fans.
She has. So hey, listen, look, Ronda has said some pretty gross things on certain topics in the past. So, but at the same time, she's also had to deal with some pretty insane fans.
Yes.
So there's both sides of the equation. She's probably thinking, hey, I've got family, I've got money, I don't need this.
What if Brock came back? Because he's like, we've had babyface Rock for a bit, which is a weird, fun bit. Then we've just had the return of heel Brock. Mm-hmm. Tag team Brock? Imagine that, tag team. Oh, bollocks.
Oh, well, it could be Brock Lesnar and Ronda Rousey versus Shayna Baszler and...
Kairi Sane. Look at that. Kairi Sane's coming back, basically. Great news.
Yep.
That was broken by PW Insider over the weekend and reiterated by one Dave Meltzer on Wrestling Observer Radio on Sunday, saying that she'll be back maybe November. She's got 2 more dates in Japan she's scheduled for, but she is coming back. She obviously stepped away from in-ring action in mid-2020, although she stayed in WWE as an ambassador for the group in Japan until October of 2021. Then she went and did Stardom, New Japan, first ever IWGP Women's Heavyweight Champion, of course. Her final dates appear to be in All Japan Pro Wrestling. She's booked for their event on September the 8th. I love me some Kairi Sane. I'm excited to see her back in WWE. One of the best elbow drops ever.
Yeah, I spoke a lot about Kairi yesterday, so I won't analyze it too much. But it's nice now to have a timetable on when she'll be back in. A few months, it seems, it's going to take. There's obviously fertile ground, not fresh, what's the word I'm looking for? Previous storylines you can use. Her and Asuka, obviously, tag team before Kabuki Warriors, all that stuff. You could reunite them, and you have suddenly a really good and established tag team in that division, which kind of needs it. So, shout out to Kairi. I think she's awesome, and I can't wait.
Yeah, give her a singles title win on the main roster as well.
Yeah.
More than deserves it. Right, let's move over to your X questions. At What Culture WWE, of course, you want to get in touch with us.
We're joining DX for this.
I'll do the Shawn Michaels. Oh, I'm not touching my cock, so that's fine.
So it's okay.
Matt Ryan, Aussie Dead, gives us our first question of the day.
Long-time legend.
After Gunther surpasses the IC title record, fingers crossed, unless Brock changed his mind, who could be the one that possibly beat him, and could it be Gable?
Sheamus.
Yeah.
Sheamus. I'm going for the romantic option. I'm going for the veteran guy, always works hard. He's been great for years, even when people haven't acknowledged it, which wasn't the case for a long time, unfortunately. He's worked through a lot of serious injuries, spinal stenosis. He's effing awesome when he's at his peak. Had the great match last year, of course, and the rematch was good too. Heartbreaking defeat in Wales. Which, in another world, some idiot commentator would probably go, his backyard of Wales. He's Irish. Sheamus for me, it just completes it. It's a nice story. It's heartwarming. It's good.
Yeah, whilst I am tempted to do a gimmick and say Cameron Grimes or Tony D'Angelo or...
Tony D'Angelo!
To a certain extent, to agree that Chad Gable, and he'd probably be my second choice. I can't disagree with you. It has to be Sheamus, doesn't it? It has to be Sheamus. But we were talking about this before we came in here. You were saying how if they made it, all right, IC title match, Gunther puts the championship and the streak on the line, but Sheamus has to put something up. He's going to put his career up. It just gives it away, doesn't it, there?
Makes it too predictable. And even if it doesn't become predictable and the person who's retiring actually loses, they're coming back in a month.
Yes.
So, like, I don't like those stipulations unless you're actually retiring. And even then, Ric Flair.
Yeah.
You know? So, like, I don't like that stipulation a lot of the time, unless there's any...
Unless at the previous Premium Live event, Edge says, I'm going to put my career on the line, and we all go, okay, fair enough. And then Gunther just beats him.
Yeah. That'd be funny.
Bye.
See you later.
No, I wasn't ready for this.
5 seconds, done.
Yeah. Second question of the day. I really like this one. From John Harrison, another legendary contributor. Right, it's good Monday, boys. As we've gone from 0 to potentially 3 all-in matches in a week, do you think there's a risk of an overbooked card?
What?
8-hour WrestleMania style. Have a great day. Peace and love. Peace and love. Right, John, listen, mate. I get it, but we can't complain one week that they haven't booked anything. When they announce 3 matches, go, whoa, Tony, slow down.
Slow down, Tony.
I think partially this is tongue in cheek.
I think he's taking the piss a little bit here, but yeah, I mean, how do I broach this?
It's a big. You're going to it. It's an awesome Wembley show. 80,000 people. Put 20 matches on the card for all I care.
Well, that's the thing. Like, AEW is the 4 or 5 hour pay-per-view company, so it wouldn't be a surprise if they did load it up with 12 to 15 matches, and I think they probably will.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily mind that here because, well, yeah, they are long shows, but they only do like 6 of them a year. Now, obviously, as you pointed out on the non-existent first recording of this video, yeah, it's literally non-existent.
Yeah.
They're doing All Out the week after, so maybe it's a bit different, but I'm not going to be All Out, and I'm going to be All In, so I don't care. But yeah, they do longer shows. It's fine. We've got these 3 matches. They all kick ass. Probably Jericho Ospreay as well.
Yeah.
Probably some other stuff. It's fine.
Yeah, and I think AEW aren't clueless. They aren't. Do you remember back a while back? Less so now from WWE. They do long-term booking, but where they'd like do a pay-per-view and then on the Raw afterwards they'd be like, "Right, what have we got next? WrestleMania? Oh God!" Like WWE does this as well, but AEW obviously looks past it, and I think there are some matches, maybe like the TNT Championship match, for example, that they might think, actually, we'll put that on All Out, or certain feuds will go on certain bits. All I know is Michael Sidgwick, who will be going to watch AEW at Wembley, 80,000 people. The big thing he just keeps banging on about, he won't shut up about, is what's the Hardy Boys match at All In? I'm so excited, he keeps saying.
He really needs...
He comes in with his sleeves on, and he's like, delete, I love all that.
He does that every single... It's so weird the way he does that, because he's holding his umbrella going... Bam, bam, bam.
He's got beans in one hand.
He's a Hardy freak. He just can't help himself.
Hardy freak on a leash. Right, final question.
On Saturday.
Final question today comes from Tully Television, who writes, when Jimmy turned against Jay, was I the only one who first thought was, uh-oh, this is a big misstep? It's the first time I felt this towards this story, or am I just overreacting?
No, you're not overreacting, and you're not the only person who feels that way. When I woke up and looked online before I watched the show, it was mostly negative. And I was like, okay, well, for the video, what I'm going to do is poll our audience, because I like our audience more than I like random Jones on Twitter, on X. So I did a Twitter poll for 2 hours, I did a YouTube community poll for 2 hours, and guess what? They both were identical. Around 68% didn't like it, 32 did. Give or take a couple of percent here and there. So yeah, most people didn't like this, at least among our viewers, and I think that's very fair. For me, it's a little bit late era NWO, swerving for swerving's sake. How many turns can we take, brother? And I do wish more time had passed between a guy getting hospitalized and then you know, what happened there. People would argue that Jimmy is sick of Jay propping himself up on Jimmy as like main event Jay, I'm taking that opportunity, all of that stuff. So I get the counterpoints. Like, I'm not mad at it. I don't get mad at wrestling anymore unless like actual crimes have been committed, which unfortunately happens quite a lot because people are psychopaths. Yeah, because this business exists. But yeah, like I think that you're actually in the majority, and I think your
I'm a huge fan of this Bloodline story, so of course I'm going to give it slightly more leeway. But I think also WWE have earned the privileges of, especially with this storyline, letting it play out somewhat. Like, I'm fascinated to see how they follow up on this on SmackDown. I think if you've got a show called Payback in a month's time, this feels like an obligatory main event. The war between two brothers, which is probably going to get dragged out to WrestleMania, isn't it?
Your second favourite set of two brothers.
Yes, of course.
We'll leave that one in What Culture lore.
Yes. So I think I was surprised a little bit by people being so shocked by it. It felt like, we talked about it on our predictions, it felt like that was the way they were always going to go. And I think there is an element, which is always good, that you can understand where the heel's coming from. When he first went down injured, Jay sees the opportunity to become the right-hand man, main event Jey Uso. And then this time he gets hospitalised, and Jay's first thing, as they kept putting out on television and slapping you in the face with, was his first thought was, oh God, I hope my brother's all right. It was, can I have a title shot, actually?
Yeah.
Look, I'm slightly biased towards it, as I say, because I want this to work out.
Yeah.
But maybe give it a week or two and see where we go from here. All I do know is Roman Reigns is probably not going to be on our telly for a while, and you mentioned this in the other news video that will never ever see the light of day.
We forgot to press record.
We forgot to press record.
So it literally doesn't
Monday.
exist.
It'd be intriguing to see what happens with the ratings with this.
Yeah, for sure. Like, if we get a couple of weeks down the line and they're still high and ticket sales are still good and merch is still good and YouTube is popping and all this, none of this will matter. And it's all storm in a teacup.
Yes, and I think the way that the Cody match played out, I thought, yeah, WWE kind of justified not putting the title on him at WrestleMania 39. But I will argue that point with Michael Hamfler on the SummerSlam review, which is coming your way. What Culture Wrestling, wherever you get your podcast from, a little bit later on today.
Look at this!
In the interim, check this out.
Peace!
Bye!